was in December 2012. I traveled to the village where I was born and brought up. Our viewers on YouTube and on Facebook, we are live now. So if our teams are there, you could let the people know that we are connected there already. So in 2012, December, I traveled to the village, and I was, so early January 2013, I was given opportunity to share at Methodist Church Nigeria, Oho Oboru, and it's one of the biggest or the largest church in that community, with a population raising to 1,000 to 2,000 worshippers on a daily basis. So I was opportune to share the word. And after I shared the word of God with the people, the excitement was so high, the ovation was exceptional. And then, like you know, the tradition in Christianity is you welcome the people, or you invite people to come give their life to God. So I make an altar call, a very simple altar call at the end of the preaching. And I saw large numbers of people who come to give their life to God, some to rededicate their lives. And among them was my own mother, who was already a believer long before I was born. It dazed me. The ovation of that program never entered my head, but as I was going home in a deep thinking and in a sober reflection, inspiration came that we should begin an annual seminar. So we started in 2013 in May 1st, somewhere in Shangisha here, in Shangisha, Magodo in Lagos, a physical seminar, and we had attendance of just 4 to 7 people in attendance. The second year, we had about 20 to 30 people in attendance. The third year, we moved it to Aige because I was more dominant in the Aige environs around that time. So we moved it there. There was a time we have attendance of 40. The second time we had it, we have attendance of 70 people. And then fast forward to 2019, we brought it back to Shangisha Magodo. And during our book launch, we have above 100 people in attendance. And the excitement, the feedback was everything. So why am I saying this? My first word to you, the word of encouragement or motivation, whatever you call it to you this morning, is if you want to succeed in life and leave a record or leave your name on a sand of history, you must be ready to start the way you are, where you are, with what you have. So, this simply means you must be ready to start anyhow, but with God on your side, you can never end anyhow. So, last year was pandemic, and we had arrays of speakers, such as Rodami, Barrister Joshua Lobo, all the way from Abuja, one of the senior legal personalities in the country. And after that program, I went back to check like a month later. We see that about 400 plus people have engaged with that program in one platform already, just on Facebook. But we have it recorded on Zoom and then live stream to YouTube, Facebook, and then some part of it on IG. So that's has given us some courage to believe, in addition to my personal adventure, that we are going somewhere wholeheartedly. So, but the truth is that I don't have the capacity to do this on my own. There are some individuals who commit their resources to support us. So if you look through in our flyers, you have about 4 to 5 organizations whose logos are there. We are practically begging you that anywhere you see these people, patronize them. They are good to us. One of our sponsors is Puzzle Health and Beauty. Puzzle Health and Beauty is into beauty and accessory, deodorant, kitchen utensils, and mouthwash, shampoo for women hair, oral for mouth cleaning, and all manner of things that make a life of a man comfortable. You could find it in their store. All you need to get Puzzle product is just to type Puzzle Health and Beauty on Google, and you just locate their store and just request anything. They deliver within and outside Lagos, and we will be happy to see you patronize them. And another organization that is also committing her resources to sponsor us is Rodin Health Limited. Rodin Health is into health insurance for corporate employees and individuals, and health consultancy generally. They have a large presence online as well. Just type Rodin Health and you locate their site. And then we have Agenda Media, which is into outdoor and indoor advertising. They are doing a great job of quality touch of anything advertising. And with the current trend, they are also into digital advertising as well. Just a click of finger, you will get a Agenda Media site, which I believe is on by now, but we're migrating from one of their site to the other one. So you will get them. And then we have Foliem Limited, or Foliem Systems, that supplies computer, bank accessory like counting machine, POS machine especially, and other automated systems that we use is available in their store. And they also have a very robust website for you to engage and get their products anywhere across the country, and they deliver to you. And the good part of it is that all these organizations, they have their head office or head offices in Lagos. Foliem is located at the heart of Ikeja on the popular Awolowo Way. And Agenda Media is also off Awolowo Way by Allen Avenue. And Puzzle Health and Beauty is located proudly on Oregu Ikeja. And the Rodin Health and Beauty is located at Yaba in Lagos. So please do us good to patronize these people. They are doing a great job of making this happen every year by proudly giving us their support. Thank you so much for being there, sirs and ma'am. And then I can't do this alone, like I said, which I've just mentioned our sponsors. Also, we have our website that we have put on, Benzema Consulting. If you if you type Benzema Consulting on Google, it take you to our website. You will see the name of all these organizations as our partners there. Just locate the partners and you see them there, live and direct on our website. And then I have a team of young, talented, and vibrant individuals who will do this together. Hear this. Coming together is the beginning. Staying together is progress. Working together is success on the you need a team of people. Let me say that again because there was an interruption somewhere. Anything you are doing in life, you need a team of people to make it successful. I think that is the challenge of the social media. Some people have been trying hard to ring me on phone. That is not happening now. If you attend this program today, I because the information you are going to receive from here today, your life will never remain the same again. You will be so motivated that you will begin to enjoy greater autonomy in every area of your life. Like I wrote in our introduction, listen to this very carefully. The beauty of knowledge is that what you know is your property for life. Nobody and nothing can take it away from you. That is why when you have opportunity like this, you come expected, prepared to learn and to better your life. Team of Success Bread, we thank you so much. Moses Adeniji, John Ida, Femi Omodua. We have Veronica Etebe. We have John Ipu and Israel Cosmos. These are the team of young men that we do this together. We celebrate you, we love you, and we say the Lord will strengthen us to do great and amazing things together. And run up to this seminar, I put off a writing where I titled Untold Story of Benson Adima. You go to my Facebook page, you see that story. And then it was also blogged. So if you connect with us on WhatsApp, if you go to our status, you get to see a link that takes you to our website where you can read that story bit by bit. It will inspire you a great deal. Right about now, I won't take much time again. I need to bring you one of the most anticipated men of the moment. I could see him in the house already, and he's very much ready to share some wisdom with us this morning. Someone is beginning to ask questions. When are you bringing in the speaker to speak to us? Don't worry, you will see them very, very soon. So, in order to that quickly, I'll be happy to introduce to you one of our guest speaker today, or number one guest speaker today. Don't forget, we're engaging about 3 amazing men this morning. And The first person that is coming is, do I save the name first, or do I call the name first of all? Or which one do you want? Don't also forget today is my birthday, so there's a lot of excitement every here and there, you know. That kind of thing. Yeah. So with that said, I'd love to introduce to you our first guest speaker for this morning. His name is Femi Summer, as in Obola. This man has been actively involved in youth activities for the past 15 years going. And I met him, I think about up to how many years now? Will I remember my head stop quickly? I think I know Prof. Femi near a decade now. And is a consistent man. Yes. Apart from being involved in youth activities, both on campus and in religion cycle and everywhere, he is also a believer and a youth pastor of RCCG, Lagos Province 21, and a youth pastor for Victory Chapel, Magodo, here in Lagos, Nigeria. Academically, he holds a bachelor's degree in electric engineering, and he has ordered several professional certificates in technology and in cyber security. He is currently working as a technology and a business consultant with one of the Big Four professional service firms. When I talk about Big Four service professional firm, you know what I'm talking about. So, Prof. Femi proudly work. That is how we call him commonly. Don't mind me. When I say Prof. Femi, you know, I say it unconsciously. You know, when some people are very good, you need to call them bro for a very long time, even though when they have become daddy. Yeah. But I'm happy to say to you that Prof. Femi is a father, a husband, and he is a convener of a popular program that is aired across Facebook and other social media entitled The Journey, a program that featured captains of industries sharing their life stories and their journey stories every month. He holds this program every month on behalf of Lagos Province 21 and on behalf of himself. And out of his love and passion for youth, he do this. I'm happy to bring for you this morning, in the secular, like I said, Prof. Femi engaged with KPMG, one of the leading consulting firms across the world, with a standing ovation and excitement in our heart. With gratitude every here and there, we say, welcome, sir. The people are eager to hear from you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to have you.
Yeah,
good morning. The floor is yours, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm very glad to be here this morning speaking to us. Thank you for inviting me. Mr. Benson, Adima, I want to appreciate all the leadership of Benzema Consulting. Thank you for inviting me to be part of this session this morning. I'm excited as you are, and I'm trusting God that we'll be able to glean lessons this morning as we share a couple of things within the few minutes that we have. If you permit, I would like to just share my screen. If I can share my screen, I would like to request that I'm able to share my screen.
Sure.
Will you be able to do that? Yeah.
You have that right in seconds.
Okay.
I'm just coming. Yeah.
Okay.
Very well then.
Okay, that's fine. I don't know if you can see my screen now.
Very clear here.
Okay, so if
for
you
the
can
sake
see,
of those who are using their phone, you need to have it full. Okay, very well, sir.
Okay, so if you can see my screen, this event has been tagged Transcend, but I've been asked to speak on the subject of the power of leverage. The power of leverage. That's what I'm going to be speaking on in the very few minutes that I have. I'd like to appreciate everyone who has joined from all over, wherever you're joining from, whether with the country, Nigeria, or outside. I was speaking on the power of leverage. Just as a form of introduction, what I've seen and in my journey in life is that for every good thing that you want to achieve, there is always a need for you to compete for. Most of the good things, most of the things that you desire, that you want to achieve in life will require you to compete. It will require you to get involved, prepare, and then compete to get that particular thing. When you look at from primary school, pupils, we have to compete to get a prize. Pupils in primary school have to go into competition to get or achieve or attain a prize. And so what I'm saying is that in life, competition is part of life. So people compete to attain a desired result. But when you are in a competition, when you need, so in primary school, people compete, in secondary school, they compete, in the university, they compete for grades. You compete to be the best. You compete to be the best graduating student. You compete for scholarships. So you want to, maybe you are in school and you want to get a particular scholarship, you have to compete for that scholarship. So competition is part of life, but the truth of it is that competition gets stiffer. It gets more difficult as you grow in life. When you get to graduate from a school and you need a job, you have to compete for that job most of the time. And that's what we see in life. I remember attending a test, I think in the early, I think sometimes, I think maybe 2008 or 2000, I think it was 2007, that I had to attend I was meant to write a test for one of the banks. I wanted to get into the bank to work in the bank. And so I was meant to write a test. And the test was scheduled to be written in the University of Lagos. And I got there and I saw thousands of people. And the question I asked myself then was, how many people do they want to employ? Peradventure, they want to employ 50 people or even 100 at that point. But we were in that place. They had different sessions for those who will go through the test. And we were in the place and I could see that the halls were filled up. And then when you are done with your own for 45 minutes, another batch will come in. Apparently, maybe about 10,000 people wrote the test over a period of maybe a week. But they will not need more than 50 or 60 people or 100 people. So competition gets stiffer. When you get into a job, it may mean that somebody in that group where you work, it may just mean that only one person is going to grow and become the director. So competition in life is normal. If you're going to be the best, you have to compete and work to be the best. Those who receive medals in Olympic competed. Those who receive medals in the World Cup competed. Those who receive medals in the at the UEFA Champions League, they had to compete for it. You have to compete for the gold medal. So what I'm saying this morning is that competition is part of life for us to achieve our desired result. But I dare to say this morning that you will need more than just your talent and skill to gain a competitive advantage or to gain a competitive edge. What am I saying? I'm saying that your talent is required, your skills are required for you to obtain desired results in life, but you need more than those things. You will need more than your talent, you need more than your skills to achieve the desired results in life. And the desired results may be in different forms. For some, the desired result is around how they are going to grow and get a good job and have a car and build a house. That may be the desired result. For some, they are looking at getting married very soon. For some, it may mean to start a business and break even in that business. Whatever your desired result is, it is possible. It is possible. I've learned from the scriptures. The Bible says to us in the book of Jeremiah, the Bible says that the thought that God has towards us, they are thoughts of good and not of evil. That's what the Bible says. The Holy Book says the thought that God has towards us, they are thoughts of good and not of evil. So God desires that we also make progress in life. Now I move into the main focus of this conversation, which is the power of leverage. The question I'd like to ask us today is that, to us, what is leverage? Whichever way you look at it, different people have different understanding of what they call leverage. So you say, oh, he was able to leverage this to achieve this. He was able to seize this opportunity to achieve this. In the finance world, when you come into dealing with finance and investment, leverage has a meaning. And I mean, there is an equation for leverage and all that, but that is not the focus of the conversation this morning. So you have what you call leverage in terms of investment, leverage in terms of how you can use loan or something to achieve certain desired results in terms of financing. But that is not the focus. My focus this morning is that you will need more than your talent and skills to gain competitive advantage. You need some other things. And those are the things I'm going to be speaking to this morning. If you look at the right-hand side of my slide, you will see certain tools there. You see certain diagrams there. And if I ask you, what do you think about this? What you come to your mind is that these are tools. I want you to look at this diagram and pause a bit and just think about it. Let's look at the two diagrams beneath first and ask ourselves, what comes to your mind when you see this diagram? Probably you see what you call a vehicle jack or something. You see a hammer. These are tools. They are tools that we use to solve certain problems. And so you say, what is this man saying? These two items you're looking at are tools that you use to solve problems. When you look at the picture on top, what do you see there? Do you think it is possible that a 5 kg weight will be used to balance a 100 kg weight? Does it look realistic? Look at that picture. I want you to take a look at that picture on top. Can a 5 kg weight be used to balance a 100 kg weight? It looks impossible. But those who understand physics will know that this is possible. There's something in physics that we call lever or lever, as maybe the UK people will call it. L-E-V-E-R. That's where the word leverage comes from. What it means is that when you look at this, you see what sits there is what they call a fulcrum. I'm not going to bore us with physics this morning. But what I'm saying is that there is a way that you can adopt to make a 5 kg weight to carry 100 kg, another 100 kg weight. There is a tool. So it is possible. When you look at it, when you look at this image, it is possible. I am going to go into what I'm speaking to, which is the power of leverage. What I'm saying is that it's possible to leverage off certain advantages to achieve some things that appear to be unrealistic or that may appear as impossible. As a person, can you lift a car on your own? Can you personally lift a car? Maybe there are some very powerful people that can lift a car, but this small tool here can lift a car. This small tool can lift a car. As small as the nail is fastened to this wood, most of the time you can't use your hand to remove this nail from the wood or from the plank. But the armor can, this armor that you're seeing here with this tool can remove it. It is called leverage. So you use certain things to achieve what naturally you can't achieve. When you pick the jack here and then you roll it, a car will move up. It looks small. It looks like something that a car will crash, but it will move it up. So that is the power of leverage. And so what is leverage? What is leverage this morning? What is leverage? I'm sure we have different thoughts around what leverage is. I'm going to define this because we're not just going into leverage in terms of finances and all that. But leverage is the tool, the technique or methodology that can be employed to gain competitive advantage in order to achieve a desired outcome. So when you employ a tool, when you employ a technique or a methodology to gain a competitive advantage, to achieve a desired outcome, that is what you have is a leverage. So when you adapt, when you look at a tool or a technique or a methodology or a resource, anything that you can use, whether tangible or intangible, that you can employ to gain competitive advantage in order to achieve a desired outcome, that is what leverage is. And I'd like us to pay attention to this morning, because it's been proven again and again that the mind is powerful. There's a lot that we can achieve with our mind if we'll pay attention. In my own personal life, I've seen that the things that I believe is possible are the things that happen. A lot of the things that I don't believe in, they don't typically happen to me. The things that I do not believe it's possible can't happen or may not even happen. Let me give you an example. Several years ago, I was meant to write an exam, and the exam, it was more, I was to write an exam, but the exam also requires that the best in the exam is going to get a prize. The best in the exam is going to be identified, and then you'll be celebrated. But it's also important to pass the exam, even if you don't lead the exam. And as I was working towards preparing for the exam, I'm a child of God, and the Lord spoke to my heart that it is possible to lead this exam. You can lead this exam. It is possible to be the best in this exam. It's one thing to pass the exam. The exam requires you to have 450 over 800 to pass. But you can lead the exam. And immediately that came to my mind. It was clear to me that I have what it takes to lead that exam. If I could leverage those things, if I could employ those competitive advantage that I have. When it comes to leverage, leverage can be both external or internal. There are things that you have within you that you can leverage to achieve a desired outcome. There are things that are external to you that you can leverage. Whichever one, whether they are within you or outside, external, it is possible to achieve the desired outcome if you pay attention to this. And I've seen that the real power in leverage is the identification of the appropriate leverage. What exactly do I want to leverage that is fit for purpose? So we have to identify that thing that you can leverage to achieve your result. You have to prepare and groom yourself to be able to use that thing. And then you have to employ and activate that thing. So one thing is to identify what is that advantage that you have. What is that advantage that you have? How do you prepare and groom yourself to achieve that thing? And how do you employ and activate those things to achieve the desired result? And as I said, the desired result can be different things for different people. The desired result can be different things for different people. But the question is, are you willing? How do you achieve the desired result? I said you need to identify those things, prepare yourself for those things, and activate those things. Those are the three things in terms of preparing to leverage. And then in this meeting this morning, I'm going to speak to us on three different areas or three different things that we can leverage to achieve desired result. I'm going to speak on three things that we can leverage, and then if possible, I'm going to take questions. Three things that you can leverage to achieve the desired result. Three things that you can leverage to achieve the desired result. And that's what I'm going to be speaking to in the next few minutes. This appears very simple. If you can see my screen, this appears very simple, but it's extremely important. Leverage your time. Time is one thing that everybody on earth has equally. We're not born equally. We're not born in the same home. We're not born in the same town. We're not born in the same people. But we are born and we have access to time. You have access to 24 hours. I have access to 24 hours. We have access to time. This morning, I would like to encourage anyone who is looking at achieving results that you need to leverage time. You need to leverage your time. The first thing that we must understand is that time is a vital resource for success. Time is a vital resource for success.
Thank you, ma.
Time is a vital resource for success. I like you to take note that life is calibrated in time. Life is calibrated in time. The unit of measurement of life is time. When you look at a man and you want to describe a man, you can say the man, you can say the man is 80 kg in weight. But much more importantly is that we talk about the age of man. Life is calibrated in time. The age of a person is how we measure, the man is 50 years old, he's 20 years old. So it's a unit of measurement. Life is calibrated in time. So what it means is that when a man wastes time, he's wasting life. When a man is wasting time, he's wasting life. I read this not quite long, and it touched me so much. The writer says, life does not favor the stagnant. Life does not favor the stagnant. This morning, I'd like to ask a young man, a young woman, an elderly man, an elderly woman listening to me, or a teenager listening to me this morning. What are you doing with your time? The Bible says that there is time for everything under the heaven. Time is critical. If we're going to achieve success, we must pay attention to time. Those who don't pay attention to time, they don't pay attention to life. When a man pays attention to time, what he's doing is that he's paying attention to life. When a man is stagnant, he's losing time and he's losing opportunity. This morning, I'd like to just provoke us to think. What are you? Interestingly, we have just entered the 5th month of the year. We just entered into the 5th month of the year. What are you doing with your time? There were things you set out that you were going to do in the month of January. Have you achieved them? The things you planned that you were going to do in the month of February, what have you done to them? The things that you planned that you would do in the month of March, what have you done to them? Time is critical. I would like you to pay attention this morning and make a decision not to waste time. Anytime you sit down and you focus on the things you didn't plan for, you are losing time. We have to be deliberate about time. Someone will say, but is this seminar about time management? No. It's about achieving success in life. It's about achieving the desired result. But life is calibrated in time. Leverage your time. We've all heard that if you watch television 6 hours a day, it means that you have watched television. By the time you are 60 years, you would have watched TV for 15 years. Does it make sense to think that somebody is sitting in front of a TV set and is watching TV for 15 years? Doesn't make sense. But it's the reality of life. It means that it is possible. So those 1 hour, those 2 hours, we are in the era of social media. We all utilize social media, and you can achieve a lot with social media. But what are you doing with social media? What are you achieving with social media? Are you just wasting your time, just moving around? You're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, and you're not doing anything meaningful. A lot of people spend their time following gossips on social media. There are different blogs where we have gossips. But the deliberate are those who win in life. Someone says what you don't desire, you don't deserve. The deliberate are the ones that win in life. Go and speak to any of the CEOs. Go and speak to any of the leaders, captains of industry. You will know. I've had opportunities of sitting in rooms, in the boardrooms with some powerful people, and you listen to them. You know that they have got something. You know they have invested time to achieve what they are today. I'd like to encourage someone today, learn new skills. Read new books. When last did you pick a book and read? When last did you pick a book and read about where you are going? Some of us want to be renowned in a particular field, art or music, or it's in consulting. What it is that you want to achieve. You need to spend time investing. So learn new skills, read books. The last one I want to talk about is spend time thinking. It was Bishop Oyedepo that spoke sometimes back, and he mentioned that there are a lot of things that God wants you to use your brain to do. A lot of the time, some of the things we pray about, that God has given us the capability to achieve those things. A lot of the times I challenge myself that if you focus on this, you achieve it. Spend time thinking. This may appear weird, but can you devote some 30 minutes to think? Can you devote some 20 minutes in a day, 30 minutes in a day to think? You will be surprised the kind of solutions and ideas that will come to your mind. Reverend Sam Adeyemi wrote a book and says, ideas rule the world. Ideas rule the world. But those ideas come when people sit down and think. They apply themselves. I know there are psychologists who have talked about the thinking room. Some go into a room and they sit down and think. The Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Spend time to think. That business that you want to do, think about it. That ministry that you want to do, think about it. I'd like to salute the courage of Benson Adima. He's been consistent. And I was speaking to someone today that one thing that I like about this man is consistency. Years ago, he's been talking about this. He's been saying he's a motivational speaker. But thank God for what God has helped him to achieve today. But it's important that we continue to think. I'm going to speak to two more things and I'm going to close. I've said we should leverage your time to think, leverage your time to learn new skills, leverage your time to read books. The second point I'd like to talk about is leverage your connections. A lot of the times we underemphasize or underestimate the power in connection. Let me ask you, who do you know? Who are your friends? A lot of the times we underestimate the power of connection. But if you're going to achieve that thing that you need in life, you need to connect with people. A lot of the people who say they are self-made, go and check. There were people who helped them. This morning, I like to say, leverage your connection. Leverage your connection. Who are your friends? Who do you know? You'll be surprised the power that you have in your network. That contract, maybe there is someone you can speak to. But if you don't think about the people you need, don't worry, don't start with the people you know. Let's start with, who do I need for this? So for example, you want to go into a business and there is, you know, people who have done well in that business. You can link up with them and get them to be your mentor. You need to know, identify those that you need. When you identify the people you need, then you can leverage your connections. Don't think you can't get to the governor. Don't think you can't get to the president. Don't think you can't get to one man of God that you respect so much. If you think it and believe that it's possible, it's possible. You can, if you begin to ask questions. Let me give us a very simple example. David went to the battlefield to give food to his brothers. But he saw Goliath and he thought that I have something in me that can deal with this man. What did he do? He started asking questions. All he was doing was asking questions. There are questions you will ask that will take you to the king. Some questions, you ask some questions and you'll be brought before the king. He says, what will be done for the man who kills Goliath? And they were laughing at him. What is this guy saying? Do you understand what you're saying? He went to the battlefield and he was speaking to soldiers. What will be done to the man who kills Goliath? What will be done to the man who kills Goliath? He kept asking questions until they brought him before the king. They brought him before the king and then he connected to his destiny. If you ask the right question, you will get connected to your destiny. Ask the right questions. Be ready to. Another important thing is that when people think of leverage, they think about manipulation. I'm not speaking about manipulation. I'm not talking about using people. I'm talking about connecting to helpers of your destiny. I'm talking about connecting to those who will help you in life. Connect with people sincerely. The question that David asked was a sincere question. So when the people thought that, what's this guy saying? What's this guy saying? I will you be asking about who kills Goliath? They told him. He kept asking questions. But it was a sincere question that he was asking. So you need to connect with people sincerely. You also need to be ready to help people. You need to be ready to help people. A lot of the time, the people you help will connect you with those who will help you. My parents told me long time ago that if you do good for a Yoruba man, don't think that is a Yoruba man that will help you. He may be an Hausa man. He may be a Nupe man. He may be an Ishekiri man. He may be a white man that will help you. Be ready to render a helping hand to other people. When Joseph interpreted the dream for the butler, he was helping. He looked at the guy. Why are you sad? The guy said, I had a dream. He said, oh, what is your dream? Tell me. And he interpreted the dream and helped the guy. He helped the guy. When the guy was leaving the prison, he now told the guy, remember me. The Bible says the man forgot it, but later God brought it up and the guy remembered it. So we must be ready to render a helping hand. You may think that you cannot help someone. You may think you don't have anything. What do I have that I'm going to use to help somebody? You have something. There is that gate man. There is that house help that you can help. There is someone that needs your help. That thing that you think you don't have, there's someone who needs that help. That person may be the one that will connect you to your destiny. Learn how to ask for help. Ask for help. When you speak to people, ask for help. Ask for help. I'm not talking about begging. I'm saying that if you need help to achieve a dream, speak out about it. Someone says that a closed mouth is a closed destiny. David didn't keep quiet. He kept asking until they brought him before the king. I'll speak on the last point this morning. It looks weird, right? But I'm saying you can leverage failure. I've said you should leverage time, you should leverage connections, but you can leverage failure. What do you mean, Femi? What do you mean by leveraging failure? Nobody wants to fail in life, but disappointments are part of life. At one point, go and speak to the CEOs. Go and speak to leaders, captains of industry. Go and speak to great pastors. Go and speak to great inventors. They have failed in time past. They've had disappointment. They've encountered one challenge or the other. They've had their days of disappointment. Someone says, the man who never made a mistake never did anything. If you do not do something, you will not make a mistake. But if you try and attempt to do things, you can make mistakes. I've made mistakes in my personal life. I've made mistakes in different areas. Be ready to face certain disappointment. When they come, take them and learn the lessons from those disappointments. It's a common saying that Henry Ford forgot to put a reverse gear on his first automobile. When he developed the first so-called car, he didn't put a reverse gear. That was a disappointment. Some people look and say, you failed. How can you not think about a reverse gear? But Thomas Edison failed several times on several inventions, spent millions of dollars on products that later did not see the light of the day. He failed. He made mistakes. If you ask the CEOs, they will tell you their products that they have tried to push out that didn't work. There are services that they have delivered that didn't work. I like to say, don't be held back by the past failure. Instead, pick up the right lessons and forge ahead. I like how the Bible puts it. The Bible says, remember not the former things, neither the things of old. He said, God will do a new thing. Remember what you should note is to take note of the lessons, but don't let the past failure hold you back. Hey, I remember I sold this. There was this business I started in 2010 and it didn't work. Hey, others have started businesses that didn't work. Start another one. Learn the lessons and start a new one. Some have been held back from making any meaningful progress because of past mistakes. Hey, I made a mistake that time. I don't want to lose another money. Lose it. Take a step. Learn from the lessons. I'm saying leverage failure. Interestingly, it's not just your own failure that you should leverage. Leverage the failure of other people. Don't wait to make all the mistakes in life. If you wait to make all the mistakes in life, you're not going to get to your destination. Leverage the failure of others. Some people have failed, so leverage the lessons. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying about leveraging failure is leverage the lessons of failure. I like this scripture so much. Proverbs 24 verse 10. I like this scripture so much. Each time I remember that scripture, it touches me. He said, you are a poor specimen if you can't stand the pressure of adversity. You are a poor specimen. Proverbs 24:10. When you read it, this is the Living Bible. It says you are a poor specimen if you can't stand the pressure of adversity. You are a poor specimen. What does a specimen mean? A specimen is a sample. It's a representation of a population. So you become a poor specimen if you can't stand the pressure of adversity. Meaning that God expects that we will face adversity, but we must not fail under adversity. As I begin to wrap up this morning, leverage your time, leverage your connections, leverage lessons from failure. The biggest rewards are outside your comfort zone. The biggest reward outside your comfort zone. The things that you are reluctant about doing, they are the things that will bring gain to you. The things that you are hesitant about doing, they are the things that will bring the gain that you are looking for. They are outside your comfort zone. The things that are very easy to do are not the ones that will bring the biggest reward. That thing that you are afraid of doing, that thing that you are afraid that you will do. So, for example, you want to organize this conference. You are afraid that people will not turn up. You are afraid that you may not have the money to do it. You are afraid that, oh, maybe I will not get some speakers. You are afraid that people will make comments that you don't like. Those are the things that will bring the biggest rewards to your life. Comfort zones are not where we should stay. The greatest discovery of my generation, William James is a philosopher. He said the greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitude. You can change your life by changing your attitude. Successful people do the things that unsuccessful people don't like to do. Hey, I like this scripture here, and as I try to close, when you look at this scripture, 2 Kings chapter 7, verse 3, there's a story of the 4 lepers at the gate. There was a famine in the land. There was a siege laid at the gate of Samaria. And these 4 leprous men, at the entering in of the gate, they said one to another, "Why sit we here until we die?" You need to stand up and take action. Why sit we here until we die? Take that step, being afraid. You are afraid, right? Take the step. That book that you want to write, and this is not just for the people listening to me, I'm speaking to myself as well. The book I want to write, I should write it. Benson Adima has written a book. It wasn't easy. You have to stand up and take action. That course you want to learn, go and learn it. Stand up and take action. They said, "Why sit we here until we die? If we go in, we'll be killed. If we sit here, we'll die of hunger. Let's go. Let's take step." I like the courage of the 4 leprous men. They said, and they didn't die. That's the truth. They did not die. They stood up and said, "We will go. We will go. We will go. If we die, we will go. It's better to go, to try to fail doing it than to sit and die. Why not doing it?" It's better, they said, that man tried to climb Mountain Everest, but he couldn't climb it. It's better to say that I did not try at all. It was Jim Rohn that says, "Let others lead small lives, but not you. Let others argue over small things, but not you. Let others cry over small odds, but not you. Let others leave their future in someone else's hands, but not you. Don't leave your life in the hand of others. Take step and take responsibility for your action." That is the will of God. As a child of God, I've come to understand that is the will of God, that you stand up and fulfill your destiny. God kept telling Joshua, he says, "Be courageous, be courageous, be courageous." God spoke to him in Joshua 1 a number of times. You need to be strong and be courageous. And I close this morning. The greatest leverage is God's grace. I've learned in life that the greatest leverage any man can have. I've talked about time. I've talked about connection. I've talked about leveraging lessons from failure. But the greatest leverage any man can have is God's grace. What grace does to a man is that he amplifies his input to achieve a big output. So you look at a system, you have an input and you have an output. That is how a system works. There's an input, then there is an output. There's a system that works on that input, and then there's an output. But what I have seen in life is that God's grace can turn a man's life around. God can endow a man, so there are things you want to do that God can give you grace to achieve. Someone says that if you are not connected to the vine, V-I-N-E, he said you will not be fine. We have to be connected to God to achieve our destiny. I'd like to stop here. Thank you everyone for your time. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. If there are questions, I would like to take those questions quickly. And if there are none, so I'd like to hand over to Benson.
Wow. Wow. But Femi, I don't know exactly what to say. Maybe it looks as if you just come in to speak to only me. Well, thank you so much. Our listeners, if you have a question, can you leave your questions on the chat? And those of you on Facebook, you can also leave your question as a comment. And those of us on the YouTube, please also leave your question as a comment. Okay, so I don't know which one particularly to highlight, because if you could see, my book is full. So, but I don't know which one exactly to recap and everything. But Femi, I'm really humble here. I'm really humble, honestly. And the only thing that made me not be surprised is I know you already. Thank you so much. We appreciate you very dearly. I tried to gather one or two questions from our audience. You talk about the last point, which is leverage on the grace of God. Many young people today believe, okay, someone says he's glad to listen to you. I think differently, but can you leave it there in the comment you feel about Femi? I could see a lot of clapping of hands there from one of our dear mommy. Fred said, glad to listen to you. So, sir, many young people believe they can do it themselves. And when these people are caught in the wide wind of life, they are compelled to learn things they could have learned the other way. So, can you go this point about leveraging on the grace of God to achieve one's goal of success? How do one? Of course, there are people who don't care about the concept of God and so on. So, can you just emphasize it briefly? And some who even know God, sometimes God becomes the last option in their plan. So, can you? Femi, I hope you get my point.
Can you please go over that again? Can you go over the question again?
Okay, like I was.
Yeah, please just go over the question again.
Okay, there's young people who don't care about God. And there are people who know God, but they make him the last option in their plans. How do you encourage people? How do you leverage on God to live or have a better life?
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Benson. Thank you so much. So, if I heard your question correctly, you talked about the fact that you are asking how do we leverage God's grace, and I'm going to just quickly speak. I'll speak briefly to this. Just as you rightly said, we didn't create ourselves. We're created for a purpose. We're created for a reason. And because God has created us for a reason and for a purpose, we need to ensure that we stay connected to our roots. We came from him. And so we must be linked to him. If we're going to succeed and fulfill destiny, we cannot do it outside of God. You know, the way it is in life is that the fish does not survive outside water. The fish doesn't survive outside water. The bird does not survive inside water. God has created the natural habitat of different creatures. As God has created man, he has created us by he breathed into man. So we have to be linked to him. When a man is not linked to his creator, he's getting into trouble. And that's why you see some people, they tend to be achieving things and then over time things just get into trouble. But God has also given us a lot of principles that we can adopt to fulfill our destiny. So for me, to leverage God's grace, the number one thing is to know God. The Bible says those who know their God, they will be strong and they will do exploit. The people that do know their God, they will be strong and they will do exploit. That is how to leverage God's grace. So when you know God, then the grace of God is made available unto you. I hope that answers the question. Thank you.
Very well. Then a very quick one for you, sir. Some people don't know how to start on the subject of mentorship and how to leverage on relationship with people who are more connected than themselves to help them get to where they are going. What is your advice on this?
Okay, so just as I said earlier, the power of relationship is something that cannot be underestimated in success when it comes to life. You can't underestimate the power of relationship. You need, when you speak to salespeople, there are times that you need someone who knows somebody to be able to have a conversation. You understand? Sometimes you may not even get to know that there is a job somewhere if you don't have certain, I'm not talking of connections in terms of people taking you through the back door. I'm talking about even you getting to the times you need relationships. So someone that you met somewhere. Let me give you an example. I went to write an exam in Mina, in Niger State some years ago. And I did not know anybody in Niger State at that time. I was a young man. I wanted to it was a scholarship exam. It was a federal government exam. And I wanted to go and write the exam. And I remember that there was a guy we served together who lived in Mina. Relationship is important. As immediately I remember I called the guy. My stay in Mina was powerful, was wonderful, just because I had connected with this guy when we served, maybe some years before that. And the guy was willing, introduced me to his family, helped me, took me around, made this comfortable. Relationship is important. Relationship is important. Thank you.
Thank you. And friends, just remember that the people you meet coming up, you might meet them while coming down. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Femi Bola. We celebrate you. We appreciate you. We will never forget this. And the prayer is, may our dear Lord bless you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you. I look forward to other sessions with the other speakers. Thank you.
Okay. So, thank you, man. The next speaker is very much on the nearby. More I say to my colleague, I talk about this in this program. I say that where I work, many people don't seem to understand. There is a particular man I learned from. Yeah. And today is a pleasure to have that same man giving his words. To be part, not just part, but to share with us his wealth of experience as a young person, a graduate employee, and now an employer of labor, a father and a husband. He's going to share with us his life experience and some strategy for those of us who are aspiring to become CEOs and MDs of organizations. We'll learn from this one. So if I speak to you briefly, I would appreciate Femi Limited, who is one of our sponsors with the office at Ikeja. We want to appreciate a Puzzle Health and Beauty, one of our sponsors. We want to appreciate the office is also at the heart of Ikeja. We appreciate Rodin Health and Rodin Health Limited, which is into HMO. If we're looking into anything health insurance and health consultancy generally, you could contact Rodin Health Limited. The office is located probably in Yaba. Puzzle Health and Beauty that I mentioned earlier is into deodorant, beauty, odors, toiletries, anything you use at all in toilet, or anything you use at all to make your body beautiful, you could get it from Puzzle Health and Beauty. And then at Agenda Media, they are into outdoor and indoor advertising for corporate organizations and corporate institutions. Foley M system is a part or umbrella for the eagle, the making of the eagle that you see. Making of the eagle is a non-governmental organization that mentor young people to become better than who they are. If you want to be part of the mentorship opportunity of that organization, just DM me. I have a link to it. I can't wait because the people are very eager. Some have chatted me personally. When are you giving us Mr. Dude? Some have chatted me personally. So I'm thinking now, just wait. So I'm happy to say that Mr. Jude is the Chief Executive Officer of Beyond Credit Limited. He works across development finance, banking, private equity, and management in West Africa. A private role, Mr. Jude was a senior investment officer at the World Bank, where he had extensive experience in financial inclusion. The financial inclusion space, working on initiatives to improve access to SMEs in Nigeria. He was a key member of the financial inclusion team at the IC, we provide funding to several microfinance bank or microfinance institutions in Nigeria. He has MBA from Manchester Institute of Technology, MIT, and a bachelor's degree in accounting from the University of Lagos. Do I have a kite in the house? You have opportunity to say big to your alumni. And he is also a member of Institutes of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. And he also a certified professional in microfinance practices under the umbrella of CIBN. He is a father, a husband, an employer of labor. So I hope with this introduction, I did not harass you in any way. He is a gentleman, he keep it cool. And today I hold the microphone so I can hold you to ransom. So, with the standing ovation, and the people are eager to have you, sir. You are very much welcome. You have the whole of the next 40 minutes or 30 minutes to speak to us, and we engage in some questions and answers. And that will be it. Thank you, sir.
So thank you, Benson, for the introduction. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you can hear me properly. I hope I'm audible. Hello?
Very clear.
Okay. So, okay, thank you for the opportunity once more. I've been told to speak on running a sustainable business in a depressed economy. Running sustainable business in depressed economy. So for me, unfortunately, I don't have slides, but I'll try as much as possible and share my thoughts. And I could send Benson some points, some key points for people, so that you can have them handy. For me, there are two keywords in that topic. The first keyword is a sustainable business, and the second keyword is depressed economy. I'm sure that we have an idea of what a depressed economy is. An economy where you have a lot of negative growth, where there's a lot of unemployment, there's high inflation, rising prices, and so many other things. That's an economy that is depressed. And but I'm going to pay more attention in running a sustainable business, even in that sort of environment, because the question is, what's a sustainable business? In my opinion, I'm going to try to be as practical as possible. And I will say that a sustainable business, it's a business that generates value for all the stakeholders involved without being a drain on the resources that helped create the business. A business that generates value for all the stakeholders that are involved, because there are so many stakeholders in a business. So for a business to be sustainable, it must mean that that business is able to generate value for all the stakeholders. Some of the stakeholders are the customers, the employees, the shareholders or owners of the business, and even in the environment where the business operates. And therefore, for a business to be sustainable, I'm going to talk about two key elements, and then we can now discuss how to run a sustainable business in a depressed economy. First, for a business to be sustainable, it has to be commercially profitable. It has to be commercially profitable. So any business that you're running that is not profitable, whether in the short term, in the medium term, or in the long term, cannot be sustainable. Because if it's not profitable, it means that every now and then you need to look for resources from outside the business to inject into the business for the business to continue to thrive. So it is critical that whatever you're doing, that business is profitable, because it is out of the profitability of the business that you can make the required investment in growing the business and in scaling the business. So don't forget, for a business to be sustainable, such that it is able to stay in the medium to long term, it has to be profitable. That's element number one. Element number two for a business to be sustainable is that the fundamentals have to be strong. Fundamentals have to be strong. So when I mean the fundamentals have to be strong, it means that the value proposition, whatever the business is offering to the customers, has to be something that is valuable, something that customers appreciate, and something that is enduring. And so if you build a business on a particular trend, on something that is just trending for a moment, and if that thing stops trending the next moment, it means that the ability of the business to continue in the medium to long term will be doubtful. So you need to ensure that the fundamentals of the business, the value proposition, why is the business out there? What needs are you able to satisfy? If those elements are not there, you cannot run a sustainable business. And then we know, like I said earlier when I started, that a depressed economy is an economy where there are negative growth, there's unemployment, there's inflation, and almost like where there are a lot of challenges. First, to survive, so most of the time, the first thing that you want to do in a depressed economy is that the business needs to survive first. So you need to think first about survival, because if the business does not survive, you can't talk about growing. So you need to pay attention to number one, your cash flow. Cash flow is key for a business to survive depression. Whether it is, remember that it is usually a period where there might not be a lot of demands for your goods. You need to think quickly, what do you need to do to make sure that you don't run out of liquidity? As oxygen is to human survival, so is cash to the survival of a business. And so typically, when a business runs out of cash, the business basically fails. So if you're going to run a sustainable business in a depressed economy, you need to pay attention to your cash flow. That period is not a time to sell a lot of things on credit. In fact, you need to think about possibly giving your customers discount. If you used to selling on credit, giving your customers a lot of discounts so that they can pay you cash quickly, because you need cash. That is time you need to negotiate with your suppliers for better credit terms. You need to negotiate with your suppliers for better credit terms. And then you need to look at your expenditure and see what are the expenses that are necessary to run the business, and what are the things that are what I can call nice to have. There are things that you must incur, you must expend money on. But there are some things that can wait that are not that critical. So part of making sure that your cash flow is protected is to eliminate any expenditure that is not critical. Any expenditure that is not critical, that is the time to eliminate that expenditure and focus on spending money only on things that are critical. Cash is king. Cash is king. So bear that in mind, that your cash must not suffer when there is depression. And you need to also understand that your customers are king. That's number two. Your customers are king. So if you're going to survive and run a sustainable business in a depressed economy, you need to understand who your customers are and what are their needs. What do your customers need? Because any business that is going to survive and become sustainable will be a business that is able to proactively identify what its customers need and able to meet those needs. Because the day competitors start meeting the needs of your customers better than you, then you are gradually on your way out of the business. So I've spoken about cash. I've spoken about the need to pay attention to your customers' needs. Apart from paying attention to your customers' needs, you need to understand what I call industry dynamics. Every industry has its peculiarities, and from time to time, there are changes in every industry. And if you're going to run a sustainable business, you need to keep abreast of what is happening in your industry. And most of the time, think ahead of the industry. Because that's one way to remain sustainable, to think ahead of the industry. If you think ahead of the industry, before anything happens in the industry, you'll be aware and you would have positioned your business to respond to whatever is happening in the industry. So you need to monitor industry dynamics. You cannot be in the industry and don't know what is happening. Over time, you will be out of business. So you need to monitor industry dynamics. And innovation. Innovation, sometimes when we hear about innovation, we think it's only when you bring a lot of technology. Not necessarily. You can have innovation on the business model, how you serve customers. We can all remember during the lockdown, and a lot of shops were not allowed to open. Imagine if you need to sell at that point, you need to think through how you are able to sell to your customers. And quickly, some people created digital platforms. If your business is not online, if your business is not digital, you need to be sure that you do everything you can to digitize your business, because over time, businesses that are not digital may not stand the test of times. Like we saw during the pandemic, there will be times that you will not be able to face customers face to face, have physical interaction. So if you have a website, or if you have a platform, or if you're able to sell on Instagram, or you're able to sell on Facebook, or you're able to sell on WhatsApp platform, and have arrangement with dispatch companies who can pick your products and go and deliver, then you may be able to stand the test of time. So you need to think about innovation. And when we talk about innovation, innovation is not only technology. Innovation can be around your business model. Innovation can be around how do I get the goods to the customers, even when there are challenges, even when there are obstacles. Innovation can be about how do I collect payment from customers, even when I don't see them face to face. So think about innovation. Every business you do, Think about how you can do the business differently. But I also will need to let you know that if a business is going to survive in a depressed economy, that business needs to pay attention to its employees. Because if your employees are not productive, if your employees are not motivated, if your employees are discouraged, then you are on your way to losing the battle. So you need to make sure that your employees are motivated. You need to pay attention to your employees. It is only when your employees are happy and satisfied that they will be able to satisfy your customers. So if you're trying to achieve customer satisfaction, but your employees are not satisfied, you're just wasting your time. So you need to pay attention to your employees. Employees are critical in a depressed economy because you need all the enthusiasm, you need all the motivation, you need all the inspiration. And employees know that basically the first cost to go when there are challenges in business is staff cost. People start immediately disengaging a lot of people and people start cutting down salaries. Even though you are going, even if you have to do that to survive, you need to be as open as possible. You need to explain to them the need to survive. And for the people who are remaining, you need to be sure that you take proper care of them. I also need to let you know that you can never become complacent. If you become complacent, whether in a depressed economy or economy that is booming, if you become complacent, it's a matter of time that competitors will take you out of the business. So you need to be up and doing. You need to monitor the trends. Don't stay in your cocoon. Don't stay in your own. Don't become isolated. Keep abreast with what is going on. Keep abreast with what is going on and be on the move. Don't ever relax. Don't think that you have arrived as a business, because every day there are people who are innovating and thinking about how to take you out of business. And it is important that you remain afloat. I've tried to do a couple of businesses, and I've started businesses in fact, I've started like two different businesses in a depression, or when there is recession. I can tell you that businesses can thrive even in a depression. You just need to find out the right business to do. And one of the things that you need to do is part of running that sustainable business is you need to think about what are businesses that people will spend money on even when the economy is depressed. What are things that people will spend money on? If you're able to provide services or products that people will not cut off when there is depression or when there is recession, then you're on your way to running a sustainable business. And if you ask me, for example, if I were to give example, I would say if you're able to run food business, food or food-related business, if you run a food business and you get everything right, even in a depression, people are going to eat. People are going to eat. So you do well. If you run a business in the health sector, even when there is depression, people need to remain healthy. If you run a business where you lend money and so on, Even in a depression, people will need to borrow money. So you need to think through what kind of business should I do when the economy is challenged. Don't go into a business that looks like a luxury business, a business where people only spend money when there is surplus. That sort of business may not do well in a depression. That sort of business may not do well. Focus on businesses where people must spend money on, whether the economy is booming or the economy is not booming, and think about the opportunity. Do you have large enough customers who can patronize you? And think about what you need to do differently. I don't want to bore you with a lot of theory, so I like to give opportunity for people to ask questions. I started by saying that a business that is sustainable is a business that is able to create value for all the stakeholders. And I talked about stakeholders being the owners of the business, employees, the customers, and the society where that business is operating. If a business is able to create such value without being a drain on the people that funded it, that business is sustainable. I talked about the fact that there are elements, two elements. Number one element for a business that is going to be sustainable, it must be profitable. So if you are building a business that is not profitable, you will keep pouring resources into it. You will keep raising money and raising money and raising money. So you need to figure out a way to generate profit with time for your business to be sustainable. I've also talked about the fact that the fundamentals of the business needs to be strong. You can't build a sustainable business on something that is fluffy. No, it has to be on real substance. What are you providing for customers? What value are you bringing to the table? So I like to take questions. I like to provide clarification. If there are questions, I talked about the fact that when there are challenges in the economy as a business, you need to focus on your cash flow. You must protect your cash flow. That is not the time to do a lot of sales on credit. That is the time to give your customers even very good discounts so that they can pay up quickly, because cash is king. I talked about the fact that you need to keep an eye on what your customers want, their needs. You must monitor it, because the moment somebody starts providing for the needs of your customers, then you're on your way to losing them. I talked about the fact that you need to pay attention to your employees and treat them nicely, because it's only when the employees are satisfied that they can go ahead and satisfy customers. You need to run efficient operations, because if you don't run an efficient operation, then your business will not be profitable. And if your business is not profitable, it cannot be sustainable. I talked about the fact that you cannot afford to be complacent. You need to monitor the trends in the industry, and you need to innovate. And by innovation, I said innovation is not only about technology. Innovation is really about, how do I think about new ways? How do I think about more efficient ways? How do I think about more convenient ways to serve my customers? How do I make life better for my customers than my competitors? That's what innovation is all about. Either the way you send the goods to them, either the way they pay for the goods, or the way they use the goods. You must remain innovative if you're going to run a sustainable business. At this point, I'm going to stop here and take questions. I talked about the fact that if you're going to run a sustainable business, you can't afford to just focus on luxury items, because those items may struggle when the economy is depressed. But focus on what customers must spend money on, whether the economy is depressed or not. Food is a good item. Healthcare is a good item. And if you want to lend money, that's another good item. Things that people need. So Benson, I'm going to stop here and expect that people might have clarifications, or people might have questions that they want to ask.
Okay. Very well, sir. Thank you very much. As I was listening to you, I feel in a business in my imagination. Thank you so much, sir. That was deep. So a question here from before I question from Facebook. Yes, sir. Okay. Maybe I need to change my communication. Okay. I hope you can hear me clearly, sir.
Yes, I can.
Okay. So question from Facebook, but before I throw that at you, I would like to check experience. I remember you start in the middle of economic crisis in 2016, and when there was a little hope that in 2018 and 1920 things will get better, 2020 became something else, another recession. And your organization is able to survive up to today. You know what you do. But I want you to relate a particular experience directly to one of the things you do at a particular time.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So yes, we started business in 2016 in the middle of recession, and of course in 2020 there was also the pandemic. But I think what is key is that in any business that is going to survive is, first you need to focus on your customers and meeting their needs. You need to focus on your customers and meeting their needs. You also need to empathize with your customers if they have peculiar challenges, and if they are struggling to pay and so on. You need to find a way to accommodate them. But more importantly, you need to think about what are the costs that you could do without in a depression or in a recession. Part of what we did to survive in 2020 was we looked at some of our locations, and we thought that there were locations that we could do without, so that we can save on the rent that we are paying on those locations. So we quickly found a way to serve customers without necessarily maintaining a brick and mortar infrastructure. That's without necessarily maintaining a branch where we need to be paying rent. So as some of the rent were becoming due, we decided to give up the properties. So because for us it was critical to to survive. So we needed to save on rent. Then we also engaged initially, even in April, when the pandemic started, when companies had started paying half salaries and all that, we decided that we're going to pay full salary in April. But by May, when it was obvious that the challenge was going to linger on, we had an engagement with staff, and we discussed with them, and for various levels of staff, we decided to do different levels of salary cut to make sure for people whose salaries were not, who were like the bottom of the rung, if you want to consider it that way, we decided to keep their salary at 100%, but some people, we cut their salaries by 80%, by 20%, I mean, and some we decided to cut their salaries by 10%. And for some, we decided to, people like me, as the CEO, I took a 25% cut in my own salary. So saving some of those money meant that we could continue operation without having to raise additional money, even when the lockdown ended, and the business has continued to thrive. Those are some of the things, but it was also important for us to keep the employees engaged and explain to them why we needed to cut salary. We had to let a few people go, but those were people whose performance were not very strong. And we thought that during the pandemic, we couldn't afford to be carrying people whose performance were not strong. So we let a few people go. Those were some of the things we did. And recently, we've restored the salary to 100%, just recently. And we've also introduced a couple of incentives, even in the midst of the challenges. We introduce incentives so that people can be driven. If they see how they can make more money, people will work more harder. So I hope I've been able to provide some clarification on some of the things we were able to do.
One of my is in their story. Until you know what they know, you can't do what they do. I believe we have people with years on the platform. I hope you are getting something, because many of you are still even on a paid employment. You're planning secretly to become CEOs tomorrow. So one of the questions from the Facebook is about the difficulties of the business terrain in Nigeria. So much that some people even go to another country to do business there than to do business here. For example, as a young person, I just let me register my business account. I don't have to visit an agency for a normal business need. The pressure. So a lot of line charge, radio charge, security charge, and also and clash with agencies. We even threaten to forcefully. How do you navigate all this? How can you tell the young person who are here intending to become business owner tomorrow, what they have in mind if they must become business in a country like us?
Okay. I'm going to refer to, there was Brother Femi, who spoke earlier, talked about Proverbs 24. You know, Proverbs 24 verse 10. I'm going to give you a quotation from the Bible. And that quotation says that if you faint in the day of adversity, it means that your strength is small. You know, if you fail in the day of adversity, it means that your strength is small. Nigeria might be a challenging business environment, but I think you need to ask yourself, a lot of non-Nigerians come to Nigeria to do business and they succeed. And I would challenge you to look at the Chinese, look at the Lebanese, look at the Indians. How is it that they leave the comfort of their homes in their countries and they come to this same environment we're complaining about and they succeed? So if foreigners can come here and succeed, I don't think that Nigerians have an excuse. I am not saying that it is not difficult to do business in Nigeria, but you need to figure a way to do business even in the midst of that difficulties. Most of the time, what happens is that when you make up your mind and you think through the challenges of running business enough, you will find solution. You will find solution. Because if it is so easy, everybody will become a businessman. The reason a lot of people are not into businesses is because they are not able to withstand adversity. They're not able to withstand adversity. Some people like the lifestyle. Oh, they want to create wealth. They want to have flexible time because they think business people create wealth and they have flexibility. But behind the scene, there is a lot of challenges. So you need to brace up. You need to brace up and be ready to take on the challenges. If you don't brace up and take on the challenges and provide solutions to a lot of the challenges around, you cannot run a good business. So it's not a time to become discouraged because it is a difficult environment to do business. No. It is the time to say, how do I thrive even in the midst of this difficulty? If foreigners come here, Indians come here, Chinese come here, Lebanese come here, the Greeks come here, they come here and do businesses and they succeed, then why are we Nigerians complaining? There's no doubt the environment is challenging, but nevertheless, you can take on those challenges, think through how to solve the problem, and run a business.
Thank you very much, sir. If you think there is a way, there will be a way. And if you think there is no way, there won't be a way. So when you are in the middle of a challenge, in the middle of any problem, your thought should be, what is the way forward? Ask, why me? Or say, try me. Yes. Unreserved devotion in your heart. There's nothing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Others on diversification. People's business within a year, even the first one has not made profit. You hear one person has created business. What we encourage young people in this regard? Some people become CEOs of 10 companies and all of them are not making profits. And you are also giving us insight into some of the business areas that even during recession, must patronize it, food, health, and money. So, thinking of diversification, at what point, who should diversify? What should trigger it? That is the question, sir.
Okay. So first, I think that if you're doing a business and you have challenges and you've tried to solve the problems and you are not able to, it's acceptable for you to explore other options. It's clearly accepted. If you look at a lot of entrepreneurs that are able to build businesses that scale, some started a business and from there they veered off into doing other things. What you can do in terms of diversification is, if you are doing a business and you don't seem to be making a lot of headway because there are a lot of challenges in the industry and you can't figure out how to solve it, you can think through, are there adjacent businesses that you can do? Because it is possible that you have some strengths already as a company, or you have some assets that you can easily deploy in another line of business. It's okay for you to explore other businesses. But what is important is that whatever business you want to do, that you start on a small scale, do a pilot. Do a pilot. Don't from day one and pour all the resources you have into the business. Do a pilot. Try the business over a number of months and see if there are prospects in that business, so that if you need to shut down the business quickly, you will shut it down quickly and start something else. One of the problems that we have as people trying to do business is that we pour everything into the business that sometimes we have not proven. You need to do pilots and be sure that you have figured out something that customers will buy and you will make money and be able to grow before you pour a lot of things into it. Start small and grow big. The challenge is that a lot of young people want the business to become big from day one. And therefore, if that business is not working, they are not able to pivot into something else easily. So I will encourage them, start small, experiment, refine your product, and then if the market has accepted your product, then you can scale that business. You can expand the business, as against pouring everything into the business to create a very big business from day one. And there, if it doesn't work out, then you have challenges. But start small, experiment, diversify, or pivot into another area, and then scale the business. That is a mindset that we need to have. The mindset of starting small, experimenting, piloting, learning a lot of experience from doing that before we decide to grow big. That is the way to go.
Thank you very much, sir. Our participants, have some question. Are there some point I have them there? Let's see. Thank you so much, sir. Honestly, we can't say enough. In a journey of going somewhere, there are people who will see you and they will help. You have rendered to us times without numbers. And accepting to spend a quality 1 hour to teach us today is another we never forget the hurry. Thank you so dearly. We appreciate you. We celebrate you. That has been the MD CEO of Young Credit Nigeria, one of the microfinance institutions in the that is using technology to affect that industry. His words are seasoned with insight, inspiration, very practical and strategic. He just put the thing. I hope you have your nose growing. Note is also what? Growing. Thank you so much, our viewer, for being. We appreciate you so much. And right now, our speaker from outside the country is ready. This guest speaker is another person to. He's one way to produce millionaires like this. After all you have heard, I know some of us are employees who are looking for other opportunities to make money outside what we do. So look for this season who have been in this of showing people how to produce money in the technology industry. He has been in this industry for a decade now, so he is trusted and well respected in this industry. I'll be happy to bring you our next team on the standby already. Before I bring him to you, I would like again to appreciate our sponsors. We thank you so much for and making news. And also we thank you, our vendor media, for your support. Road Limited for your support. We thank you, Puzzle Health, for your support, and then Agenda Media for support. Without this will be a dream in the paper. But with your support, it is getting better every day by day. And we appreciate the team of Success Bread. We call them the League of Gentlemen. I told you earlier that I am going to project their image for you. See, I don't know, those of you, the members of Success Bread team who are in the program, if I have your permission, I can then spotlight your image for everyone to see and to appreciate you. But if I have permission, then I will just have to go on. So if I have your permission, any member of Success Bread team, just type, you have my permission, and we take one person permission for all. And then we'll bring in our next speaker, an amazing man, and you will get us in the next 30 to 40 minutes, and that will be Success Bread team. Are you there? Is anybody showing something? Okay, I'm trying to see the response from one of them. Say something. Somebody say, go ahead. Okay. I have the permission of the members of Success Bread team to project their image. While I'm running on to do that, I will be happy to introduce to you our next guest speaker. Our next guest speaker is Mr. Alexis Thomas.
Hello, guys. Hello.
I need to
How are you guys? Can you
hear
me?
Come on, sir. No, he's a gentleman. Yeah. He don't want me to talk too much. He's a man that I love life. Actually, spotlighted him some time ago. Some of you must have seen his face. He's a gentleman to the call. But in his gentility, he produced millionaires like no man business. I'm also one of the beneficiaries of one of his programs. That is why I could boldly bring him on the platform today. So,
can you hear me, Mr. Benson?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Just a moment. Let me do a brief introduction to you, and then we bring you on stage. But while I do the introduction, those of you who want to see the members of Success Red Team, here are the young men who we are running this together. We have Moses Adeniji in the middle there. We have Johnny Poo on the eyeglass, and we have Veronica Etebe on just directly at the head of Benson Adima there, a young lady, very vibrant. And then you know Benson Adima, you will recollect my face. We have with the black glass there, John Ida, and then we have Lady Femi Omojua there. I'm not correct with that second name. And then we have Israel Cosmos there. These are the team of Success Red. If you're a young person and you want to be part of us, we are producing leaders and captain of industry through this platform. So you have opportunity to join us, and we look forward to have you. Before I have one more person join us, I'm giving you the brief intro of Mr. Alexis Thomas. We are bringing him all the way from Cyprus in Greece. He has built successful businesses. He has MBA certificate graduate from the University of Athens, and he has received scholarship to study master's degree in London. Since 2015, he is the owner of property, CEO of his own hotels and businesses. A digital marketing certified manager since 2007. From 2007 to today, it's about how many years? About 30 years or 40 years. And then he is an international speaker. In addition to that, check of Dubai at the Dubai 2019 to UAE, that is United Arab Emirates. He is the CEO of 20 Expo, and he an organization for everyone, including professionals and people who are interested in building wealth. He teaches his students how to run social media into money-making venture and how to grow their business online by creating multiple things of income. I said, he has produced enough millionaires who emanate from his training from America, from South Africa, Nigeria, from all over the world. So with the 20th welcome, I want us to put together with some accolades and Mr. Alexis Thomas all the way.
Hello, Mr. Benson. First of all,
the floor is yours.
Tell me if you can hear me clearly, because you're breaking up your voice. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, my network. I can hear you.
Beautiful, because your voice is breaking up. I think your internet is not fantastic, so it's breaking up your voice. So I hope you hear me fine, right? Do you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So first of all, thank you very much for the invitation, for me coming here and talk to all these lovely people there in Nigeria. I have a totally big respect for the previous gentleman who spoke here. The speakers, they look like quite successful and very honorable businessman. Mr. Jude here, I hear, and Mr. Femi. And it's a very big pleasure to be a part of this today. I'm going to tell you a little bit a part of my story, because when I came from the university and the colleges I finished, and you saw I did a master's degree, I came back and I was listening again the same things, that you have to be like, to have a lot of passion. Mr. Femi said that, you know, God really wants you to succeed, so you have to work hard for your success. On the other side, Jude said you must be, you know, passionate and do some work and start a little bit of work with a small investment and then do it and you can succeed. Is that correct, Mr. Benson? Isn't that what we hear from this gentleman, right?
Yes.
So the actual frustration of people is totally different, because you can say to people, you need to have passion to work and you need to work hard to achieve something. But the biggest problem of people is how to start my business. What kind of business can I start? How much money do I need to invest in order to start my business? You're telling me to work. Work where? Work how? Do what? With all the respect of Mr. Jude, he said, make a product and experiment on your customers and employees and this and that. Who has money today to create a product, to have customers, to have employees? 2020, there are so many millions of people shut down from their work. They threw them out on the street with their families, have no food to eat. How can they start their whole work? How can they start a work on their own, on the traditional way? Yes, they have passion, they have goals, they have ambitions, they want to work, but work where? Do what? Practically, right? Mr. Benson, do you have people there in Nigeria
Yes.
that they have the same frustration? They do want to get results, they want to make money, but they don't have any budget, they don't have money to start, they don't know what business to start. Isn't it?
It is.
So, this is where I created the solution. All right, Mr. Jude was talking about trends, about finding people solutions. Let's be precise. What am I going to tell the ladies at home? Go and start sewing different dresses and open a shop, and maybe the dress are going to be sold to your customers. How much money do they need to start sewing dresses, to start buying the fabric, to find a place where they can sell them, to drive traffic to their business to buy them? The startup capital is expensive for an average lady staying at home with kids, right? Now, with the explosion of the social media and the internet, last year I created an academy, all right? And all the proof of my academy is there. In 1 year, we exploded 120,000 members and students in my academy. All of them, each and every one of them, they made money because I teach each and every one of them. Everybody has a mobile phone, right? Everybody has a mobile phone. Everybody has some kind of internet. Everybody has some connections, and everybody can learn how to find everyday customers and connections for their business. From where? From their mobile phone, from a Facebook, from an Instagram, by learning from my academy how to build relationships, like Mr. Jude and like Mr. Femi was talking there. They were talking about relationships. Exactly. What if I can teach you the skills? What is if it's the most affordable business you can do with the lowest startup capital than everybody can afford? What if I can promise you that if you apply and do exactly what I tell you, by the end of the month, you will see money coming in your pocket. Some you will see more money, some you will see less money, but I promise you, if you apply from your own house, 1-2 hours to do exactly what you show you in my academy, you will 100% make money and start your business. Like Mr. Jude said, start small and upscale high. So I'm giving you the solution where to start small. And this is my company, 20X Pro, where 120,000 students at this moment, 1 year of operation, are all fully satisfied. They made money. Mr. Benson, you're a member with our organization, with our students in 20X Pro, our academy. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you make money with 20X Pro, Mr. Benson?
Yes.
Was it a very small startup capital and you made 10 times more money by now of your startup capital? Yes or no?
Yes.
Exactly. So my friends, I don't speak of theories. I don't speak about general goals. I speak practically how you can be at your house like you are now with your babies, with your children. Maybe you got fired from your job. Maybe you still have your job and you want to spend 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day maximum to start your own business affordably. And like Mr. Benson, you can start making immediately money in your pocket. This is what people need today. People don't need theories. People don't need general ideas. Be strong and believe in yourself. People need to say, can you tell me what to do? Can you simply tell me what to do? And now you have one of the great mentors here, Mr. Benson, who has proven results himself right from the first month. Are you satisfied with your profits the first month, Mr. Benson?
Very well.
So that's all it takes. The only you need to do, myself personally, I'm hosting 3 times a week Zoom meetings where I'm explaining in details the company, this academy. You never need to worry about money. Don't worry about investment. It's like almost free for you. Don't worry about it. I'm going to show you and I'm going to teach you 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, working from your home, from a mobile phone. You don't need computers. You don't need anything. A mobile phone I need from you and your time 1 hour a day. And you will see by the end of the month, you will be thanking Mr. Benson for showing you how you can start making money from home with a mobile phone, working exactly the same ways we are teaching everybody. That's simple. I'm a man who is helping people practically and is not talking theories. So just come to our Zoom call where I'm going to explain for 40 minutes the whole academy. What do we teach? How much money you make? This academy, you are making 100% commissions. All the money go to you. I don't make any money. I want to give all the profits back to you as the members. It never happened before in the history of business. Somebody showing you, explaining you, doing everything for you to make 100% money and commission. Is that correct, Mr. Benson? Have you seen any other company like that?
Very, very correct. I've never seen anyone like that.
So the only thing you need to do, just come to my Zoom or get in a Zoom call where you will see the company or a presentation offline somewhere. Check it out, and then you will tell me how excited and why all these students, 120,000 students, are so excited. Because we have found the solution. We have found the solution to an average person. who has so many difficulties in getting money, in starting a business and making a profit the same days, the same month. That's it. So that's all, Mr. Benson. Nothing more complicated. Myself, the moment I started working, just for you to know, Mr. Benson knows me. The moment I started working just from my mobile phone, from the internet, tapping into my social media, I became a multi-millionaire, my friends. Okay? I became a millionaire from an internet connection and a mobile phone. When everybody was laughing to me, how is possible to start a business from a mobile phone and an internet? And now I'm teaching so many people, and many of my students, they bought their own houses, they bought their own cars, they changed their family's life. And every day I get messages from so many people thanking me, CEO, thank you for so much for this 20X Pro, for bringing food in our table for our families to feed. The only thing I need you to do is just come in a simple presentation, learn what we do, and if you are serious, let's take action, and I will take you with me. I will mentor you, I will guide you. You will have the whole community there, you will meet everybody, and we are all willing to help you start your own business from home, totally affordably, the slowest you can imagine, and immediately make 100% commissions in your pocket. All right? That's simple. So thank you very much for having me. I know people
Thank you very much,
have
sir.
questions, but I think the best way to do it is for people to come to a full presentation, see my company, so they can understand how we work and how I help them make money, right, Mr. Benson? It's difficult now to explain everything like that over a call. All right?
I understand that very perfectly, sir. So I'm everyone here who desire, if I not desire, I'm going to personally follow up everybody here to get them to the meeting where they will be given a blow-by-blow breakdown of how 20S Pro has helped us. So, thank you so much, sir. But before you go, you are a CEO of an organization. You live this very simple life, very accessible for someone like me to even connect you within few days. You accepted to speak on this platform. I think that is exemplary. It's not common among some of the top guys like you. So, I don't know if we still have it. Okay, if we don't have it again, it's like, I'm sure it must be up to something else. So, a DM to me, a detail of how to speak to, you also connect to that program. I'm in one of his programs, so you can say the one I'm in is enough to cover it. Right, I don't want to take much time anymore, but I want to appreciate each and every of you participating in this meeting. Some of you have been there even before my survey. I say because now, in the last 3 hours of this program, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your love. Thank you so much for your advice. Thank you so much for your volunteer to make our life beautiful and better. We really appreciate and celebrate your love to us. And by the special grace of today, mark my birthday. and a half, God sent me to the womb of one responsible woman, and she gave birth to me. And here is me doing my little best to make sure sons of men are inspired. All of you who are contributing to me personally and to many other people, I will not, or I might not be able to pay you back in this lifetime. I will do everything possible to be an inspirational compass to many young people across the globe. So as you are assisting us, helping us, we do in our little way to encourage, to inspire and motivate young people. That is the way that we will pay you back for all you have been doing for us. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all for being there. Thank you so much, Bros. Femi, for accepting and come to share with us today. Your words are resounding. Thank you so much, Mr. Jude. I celebrate you very dearly. A contact with you is something I will never forget for the rest of my life. And today, you have reinforced that concern you have for me once again. Thank you, sir. And thank you once again to Mr. in Greece. I call him a gentle billionaire. Thank you so much for being there. And thank you for coming to share with us. Everybody that is part of on how to be part of Mr. Alexis' next training, which is coming up in the new week that we are entering. Please endeavor to join. To sign up directly through me, you are very much welcome. Thank you once again, Health Limited. A Puzzle Health, like I said, is into beauty and accessory. You can locate them online. They are one of our sponsors, a dear one as that. Rodin Health Limited is into HM consultancy of all kinds. Our major sponsor as well. A FOLIEM system and making the eagles is another major. Thank you for being there. Like I think the eagle is discipling young people. That is mentoring, provide a mentorship platform for young people to come in. The young people are linked with captains of industries who have been there. They will hold you by hand and show you what to do to become big. And then we have Agenda Media, who is our major sponsor as well. The 4 or 5 of them are all our major partners. Agenda Media is into indoor and outdoor advertising, and with the trend, they're moving into digital advertising business as well. Organizations and individuals, they are doing a job of that. And those who want to sponsor us, we do Success Bread major seminar every year, 1st of May. And then we have monthly seminar that runs every month throughout the year. Some months we do 2 seminars, especially like in the month of October. Another major seminar is coming around in the month of October. That is independent. We get public hospital this year. We want to look for how we can engage about 8 speakers, both within and outside Nigeria. So this is what we are committed to do. Benson Consulting is into the business of helping individuals and organizations with practical ideas and informations you could use immediately to get results. That is what we're into. The program today is live here on Zoom. It's streamed live on Facebook. It's streamed live on YouTube. Through several platforms to be able to transmit it through a third-party app like the Restream and Co. To be able to get it on with the help of the sponsors who were able to do this. Of our heart. You could see my video. It's very, very beautiful. Because we have our sponsor that we have a very beautiful ring light here today, and we also have a very beautiful phone stand, so that everything look better today. We also have a very portable amplifier here, which has also helped. To join the program today, but for those of you who take your time to be part of this program, celebrate you, love you. I don't know, many people are not comfortable with mentioning their name one by one. If not, so I'll just do that. But our mommies and our daddies who have been here, one of our colleagues from our workplace, and so on, any of you who are here up to now, thank you so much. We really love and appreciate you. All the love you are showing to us. My prayer for each and every of you is that our dear Lord, even as you open your heart to support this vision at this small level. A success rate international program from the United States of America to attend in Nigeria. People will leave different parts of this country to travel to anywhere this is coming, where we're going to have the captain and CEOs of industry coming already. So we're looking forward to have more of them. God has blessed us with them already, so it's just to have more of them. But before I leave you, my dear sponsors and everyone attending that is here, this evil today. Be ready to start anyhow with God, or you will never end up anyhow. It is one thing I believe from the bottom of my heart. Just start anyhow, the way you are, where you are, with what you are. I borrowed money to pick a form for University of Lagos. Today, I'm a proud graduate of that great school. I started life in this city as a houseboy. But today, I am staying in my own mini flat by the grace of God with an averagely good job. What of if I say I cannot be a houseboy to anybody? What would have become of me today? I started writing my book from a place where I was living some time ago, where I lost my house. I was writing a book on a case, an abandoned staircase for that matter. Today, that book has been published. Copy, and we have some copy on Okada book, on PayTax, on Amazon, all the way in US. People are seeing it and buying it all over the world. The problem with many of us is it may not be easy, but if you hang in there, surely someday, during during your convocation or during your coronation. But you must start. Once you start, don't give up. Thank you. This is we made your data for a very long time. I won't keep you today. Thank you, everybody. Once again, tell you, if you want to catch me for my birthday, I'm enjoyment in the city, and if you continue tomorrow, you know, celebration here and there. One on Facebook, and it's also blog there. You can go and read it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The atmosphere is charged. The heaven is closer than necessary. Don't miss the opportunity to put these words into use. So when I see you next week, I will meet in UK, in US, and everywhere in China, enjoying life together. That is where we are looking up to. Thank you so much. All the birthday wishes, thank you. I also say happy birthday to everybody that is born in the month of May. I have opened the door. Go and enjoy the grace of God. It shall be well with you. Thank you. Thank you. We got to end it here. Thank you. Thank you. I love you from the bottom of my heart.